Specifically, what I wanted to address here today is why many top bodybuilders don't tend to use a full range of motion, and why that's not only okay, but in some cases it's actually ideal. It's been said before, but it bears repeating that bodybuilding is not powerlifting, okay? So there are no strict rules about what constitutes an acceptable lift, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day, because the goal is to build muscle and sculpt the body. And one of the first things you'll probably notice when watching a lot of these massive pros working out is that they rarely perform a full range of motion. They execute half, maybe three-quarters of any given movement. Victor Martinez, former Arnold Classic champion and Olympia runner-up, provides a very good explanation for this.
One of the biggest mistakes most people make on this machine is going way, basically this high on the machine, putting too much pressure on my chest and rotator cuff. We're working tricep, the same way you would do close grip benches, again, without touching your chest.
Obviously, the same logic applies to other muscle groups as well, because the name of the game when it comes to bodybuilding is time under tension. You want to keep that target muscle constantly engaged, never allowing it to rest at any point during the set, and this allows you to really isolate the muscle, flushing it full of blood, getting that awesome pump going, and ultimately, over time, this style of training will help to develop that all-important mind-muscle connection. Another reason is something Victor also alluded to, and that has to do with avoiding injury. It's no secret that we're weakest at the bottom part of many exercises, whether it's bench press or squats or dips, and consequently, this is where injuries are most likely to occur. You'd be better off stopping a couple inches short of full extension to avoid unnecessary strain on the biceps and the associated tendons. On the other end of the spectrum are things like pressing movements, where there's little benefit to fully locking out. This approach is hardly anything new either. Arnold mentions way back in the original edition of his Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding that he started incorporating three-quarter rep ranges on bench press in order to keep the tension on the chest and off of the triceps. Now, while it's generally true that old-school bodybuilders tended to go through a fuller range of motion than most of these modern-day mass monsters today, you can still see that even way back in the 70s they saw the wisdom of incorporating partial reps. Steve Kuklo takes it one step further by stopping short at the bottom as well.
Good. Up. Good. Come on. Up. Good. Up. There you go. Easy. Come on. Good. Up. Good. Up. Minimizing my range of motion a bit and not going super low, not extending all the way up, because I'm a shoulder dominant guy, I'm tricep dominant, so those like to take over during the movement.
And this is that partial reps allow you to go heavier. It's pretty simple when you think about it. If we're weakest at the extreme ends of the lift, whether it's the bottom for squats and bench, or the top for rows and leg extensions, then if you take that part of the movement out of the equation, you remove the weak link in the chain and can effectively lift more weight. Now, I can already hear some of the protests claiming that doing partial reps is not optimal for muscle growth since you won't recruit as many fibers or something along those lines, or that it's bad for your flexibility and will leave you muscle bound, as well as other idiotic remarks like, it's cheating, memes like zero and bullshit like that. I would say that it would only be bad for flexibility or lead to less muscle growth if you didn't include enough variety of exercises to fully stimulate the muscle over the course of a workout. That's why bodybuilders usually do at least 3 or 4 exercises per body part to really hit the muscle from different angles and work it along its entire range of motion. For example, say you're training chest and you decide you're not going to lock out on the bench press, so you're not really stimulating much of the inner portion of the pecs there, but that's why you throw in some pec deck flies or cable crossovers afterwards. And I know some people are going to say, that's a load of bro science, bro. Studies have proven you can't isolate the inner pecs, bro. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. We're not talking about isolating, though. We're talking about concentrating, emphasizing. This isn't an all-or-nothing game, and it doesn't take a genius to realize that certain exercises will naturally stress different areas of the muscle better than others. So that's the deal with partial reps, guys. It's not necessarily being lazy or cheating or performing the exercise wrong. It's actually a perfectly valid strategy to keep tension on the target muscle and help preserve the joints and avoid injury in the long run. Now, and some of them do have pretty questionable form beyond that can be hard to defend, but I hope this at least explains the theory behind partial reps and why they do it. I'm the Tominator, signing off, and I'll be back.